Welcome to the deep dive. We're so glad you joined us today because the data set we're looking at is frankly staggering.
Oh, it really is. It's just wild.
Yeah, and we're talking about a snapshot from the OSRS tracker. For those of you listening, that is a real-time grand exchange price tracker and flip calculator for the video game old school RuneScape.
Right, a 20-year-old medieval fantasy game.
Yes, exactly. And our mission today is to explore how this virtual economy, which features like over 4,436 items, completely mirrors real-world stock markets and day trading dynamics.
It's basically Wall Street with dragons and swords.
It really is. And just to set the scene for you, the sheer scale and speed of this data is, well, it's intense. The tracker updates every single minute. And the snapshot we were diving into was updated just 8 seconds before it was captured. In that tiny window, it found 2,013 current flips.
2,000 profitable trades in 8 seconds.
Right. 2,000 mathematical opportunities to just buy low and instantly sell high. Okay, let's unpack this, because to understand how players make money here, we first have to look at the rigid rules, right? The friction in the system.
Yeah, can't just trade for free.
Exactly. The tracker calculates your potential profit by looking at a buy-at price and a sell-at price. But crucially, it factors in a 1% GE tax, a grand exchange tax.
Which is such a funny concept, right?
It is. Even in a fantasy game, you cannot escape taxes. It's like a virtual capital gains tax.
Death and taxes, even in RuneScape.
Literally. But here's the thing that really caught my eye. This tax, it maxes out at a hard cap of 5 million GP, 5 million gold.
The absolute ceiling.
And I just have to push back on this concept for a second. Wait, a 1% tax with a hard 5 million cap? Why would a virtual world implement a tax system that deliberately caps out for the ultra-wealthy items?
Yeah, it sounds like a massive tax break for the rich, right?
Exactly. If I'm trading a regular sword, I pay the full 1%. But if I'm moving an item worth 2 billion gold, my tax stops at 5 million. That is just a tiny fraction of a percent.
What's fascinating here is the mechanical necessity of that cap. It's not about favoring the wealthy players. It's about preserving the market itself.
How so?
Well, the game needs a gold sink, right? Every time a player kills a monster, new gold enters the economy. It just appears out of nowhere.
Right, which causes inflation.
Exactly. So the 1% tax deletes gold to keep the economy stable. But if they didn't cap it at 5 million, high-end trading would just break down.
Break down how? Like people would just stop trading.
They'd stop using the grand exchange entirely. If you had to pay 20 million gold in taxes on a 2 billion gold item, you just wouldn't use the automated system. You would bypass it.
Oh, I see. You just go meet the person face-to-face in the game and trade item for item.
Precisely. And the developers want that high-end market to stay liquid and centralized on the exchange, so that 5 million cap is the compromise.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
And, for the serious day traders using this tracker, calculating the exact threshold of that tax bracket is everything. Tracking their margin and their ROI, the return on investment strictly after that tax, is what separates the amateur players from the pros.
Because if you forget the tax, a trade that looks profitable will literally just drain your bank account.
Exactly. The 5 million cap completely changes the math on the highest tier items.
Which naturally leads us to look at the items actually hitting that ceiling, the absolute most expensive assets on the board. The whales.
Oh, the whales are fascinating.
Yeah, so looking at the data, the #1 item on the board by sheer profit margin is something called the Third Age Druidic Staff.
A very, very rare cosmetic item.
Right. So a player can put in a buy offer for around 506.7 million gold, and they can sell it for 658.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah, yielding an eye-watering profit margin of over 146 million gold in a single trade. Even with that maximum 5 million tax applied, the ROI is a massive 29.0%.
Getting a 29% return on a $500 million investment is just astronomical.
It is. But then, I scroll down the list to item number 19, the Twisted Bow.
Ah, yes, the legendary Twisted Bow.
So this thing costs a staggering 1.53 billion GP to buy. 3 times the price of that staff.
It's a huge barrier to entry.
Huge. And you sell it for 1.54 billion, you pay your 5 million tax, and you are left with a tiny margin of 3.39 million gold.
Which is almost nothing at that scale.
Right. So what does this all mean? Why would anyone tie up 1.5 billion GP for a measly 0.2% ROI on a Twisted Bow when that Druidic staff gets you 29% for a third of the price?
It seems totally counterintuitive, doesn't it? But if you look closely, high barrier to entry doesn't automatically mean high efficiency.
Okay, so what's the difference then?
It's all about the risk profiles. You have to look at what these items actually do in the game. The third age staff, it's just a flex, it's cosmetic.
Oh, it has no real use.
None. So the trade volume is practically non-existent. You might buy it for 500 million and then sit there for 2 weeks waiting for a buyer. It's highly volatile.
Ah, so that 29% return is essentially a risk premium.
Exactly. The market is compensating you for tying up your capital in an illiquid asset. The twisted bow, on the other hand, is arguably the most useful weapon in the entire game.
So people are constantly buying and selling it.
All day, every day. It is a completely stable store of wealth. It's like buying a treasury bond. You know you can liquidate a twisted bow in 5 minutes if you need your money back.
Oh, wow. So they're perfectly fine with a 0.2% return because it's guaranteed safe money.
Right. The billionaires of the game are basically just parking their wealth in blue chip assets.
That is just wild. But, you know, if the billionaires are fighting over these tiny 0.2% margins, where is the real explosive growth happening?
Oh, it's definitely not at the top.
No, it's not. It's down in the cheap, highly volatile penny stocks. This is where the math just breaks my brain.
The penny stocks are where the real action is.
Absolutely. So let's bring up item number 11 on the tracker. It's called the Trailblazer Reloaded Headband, specifically Tier 2.
Okay, so a very low-tier niche item.
Super low tier. You can buy it for a mere 225,000 GP, which in this game is just nothing.
Pocket change.
But the tracker says you can sell it for 5 million gold.
Wait, what?
Yes, the margin is 4.73 million. Because the transaction is so small, the tax is only 50K. So the ROI on this headband is a mind-bending 2,103.8%.
A 2,000% markup. That is insane.
And it's not a one-off. Look at the bronze felling axe. You buy it for $1 million, sell it for 2.25 million. That's 122.8% ROI.
Wow.
Or the infinity gloves. Buy for 808K, sell for $2 million. 145.0% ROI. I mean, this is like buying a pack of gum at the store and reselling it to someone outside for the price of a fancy steak dinner.
It's a great analogy.
Right. I just marvel at the impatience required for someone to pay a 2,000% markup just to get an item immediately.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what you're seeing here is the psychology of market friction.
Tell me more about that.
Well, time is the ultimate currency, right? Especially in a video game. If a player suddenly needs a bronze felling axe for a quest, they don't want to put in a cheap buy offer and wait 3 hours.
Because they just want to play the game.
Exactly. They want to get back to their quest, so they deliberately overpay. They type in 2 million gold, knowing it will instantly match whatever the lowest current sell offer is.
And the person sitting there with the sell offer is our day trader.
Right. The trader is basically acting as a decentralized market maker. They absorb the wait time, and that massive 2,100% return isn't a trick, it's a convenience fee.
That is so interesting. The highest returns come from exploiting market impatience and knowledge gaps in these lower tier items, rather than just hoarding the most expensive gear.
Precisely. They provide liquidity where the market is entirely barren.
But finding a 2,100% ROI isn't just luck. You don't just randomly guess that a random headband is going to spike today.
No, absolutely not. You need data for that.
You need a ton of data. And sifting through thousands of items is so intense that an entire secondary real-world economy has sprung up to support it.
This is where it crosses over from just a game into real-world finance.
Yes. So looking at the source material for the OSRS tracker, it reveals these locked premium features. Things labeled Insider, Hot Alerts, and Journal.
Sounds like an actual trading platform.
It really does. And for $2 a month after a free trial, of course players can unlock daily insider picks.
Wait, like a stock pick newsletter?
Yes. An algorithm handpicks the top 10 flip opportunities every single morning. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
Think about the incredible irony and dedication here.
Yep.
You have players spending actual real-world fiat currency $2 a month to rent an algorithm. And the entire purpose of renting that real-world algorithm is to help them maximize their accumulation of fake virtual currency.
It's brilliant, honestly.
It's crazy.
But, you know, if you look at how the UI and the features of this site are designed, the real-time push alerts, the daily algorithmic picks, the flip journals to track your tax overhead, it is practically indistinguishable from actual Wall Street day trading software, like a Bloomberg terminal or a retail stock app like Robinhood.
Wow. So they literally just built a stock trading terminal for magic staffs and bronze axes.
They absolutely did. The player base organically engineered a fintech sector on top of a medieval fantasy game.
Because the mechanics of supply, demand, and temporal friction are just universal.
Exactly. Human behavior in a market is the same. Whether you're trading Apple stock or a twisted bow, give people a data set and some friction, and they will build a high-frequency trading firm.
That is just incredible. Well, to sum this all up for you listening at home, we covered a lot of ground today.
We really did.
We started with a virtual 1% tax cap and how it fundamentally shapes high-end liquidity. Then we marveled at these insane 146 million gold margins on third-age druidic staffs.
The whales.
Right, the whales. And then we discovered those hidden 2,103% ROIs lurking in the penny stocks, like those headbands, all driven by player impatience.
The ultimate convenience fee.
Exactly. And we ended up looking at a literal real-world subscription model for a virtual stock market algorithm. It's just a fascinating ecosystem from top to bottom.
It really is. And, it leaves you with a final thought to ponder.
Oh, definitely. What are you thinking?
Well, if millions of gamers are casually using these highly sophisticated day trading tools, analyzing minute-by-minute market data, calculating tax-adjusted ROIs, and evaluating risk profiles just to buy better armor in a 20-year-old video game.
Right.
Are these virtual pixelated economies actually serving as the ultimate unacknowledged financial boot camps for the real world?
Wow. It is a seriously profound thought to end on. Thank you so much for breaking this down with me today, and thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.